Shocking Duggar update. Jill Duggar reunites with mom Michelle after years of silence. A tearful birthday brings the family back together. Rare glimpse of younger sisters leaves fans in awe. Stay tuned for the full story behind this emotional 34th birthday reunion that has everyone talking. In what fans are calling a truly unexpected and emotional milestone for the Duggar family, Jill Duggar Dillard has broken what many believe to be an irreparable silence with her mother Michelle Duggar and some of her rarely seen younger sisters. As Jill turned 34 this year, what started as a quiet birthday celebration turned into a powerful and deeply symbolic family reunion that has left fans, critics, and even longtime family insiders stunned. For years, the estrangement between Jill and her parents, Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar, was one of the most publicized rifts in the reality TV world, symbolic of the deep fractures that can form within even the most picture-perfect families. But now, in a heartwarming twist that seems pulled straight from the pages of a redemption novel, Jill has opened the door, if not fully, then at least a crack toward healing. This wasn't just any birthday. It was a moment of reckoning, release, and raw emotion. Let's take you deep inside the scenes and conversations, both seen and unseen, that made this 34th birthday not just a celebration of life, but a reckoning with the past. The Duggar family has, for years, stood as a complicated emblem of conservative family values, faith, and tight-knit unity, at least on the surface. Their TLC series 19 Kids and Counting catapulted them to household fame, offering a curated glimpse into their homeschooled, faith-led life. But beneath that carefully polished veneer lay tensions that couldn't be edited out forever. Jill, once one of the most obedient and visible daughters, shocked many when she and her husband Derek Dillard began distancing themselves from the Duggar fold around 2017. At the heart of the fracture? Disagreements over control, finances, and the intense grip of patriarch Jim Bob Duggar over family decisions. The rift became more pronounced when Jill publicly admitted that she hadn't visited the Duggar family home in years and had undergone therapy to heal from her upbringing. Then came her bombshell memoir, Counting the Cost, where she laid bare the emotional toll of growing up in the spotlight under extreme parental control. That's what makes this birthday reunion so extraordinary. Sources close to the Duggar family say that this reunion had been in the works quietly for months. It wasn't a grand televised spectacle. There were no film crews, no staged photo ops. This was personal, intimate, raw. According to insiders, it all started with a handwritten letter. Michelle Duggar, the matriarch who has rarely spoken publicly since the family's scandals erupted into the headlines, reportedly wrote Jill a deeply personal letter just weeks before her birthday. The contents of the letter have not been shared publicly, but according to someone who has read it, Michelle expressed heartfelt sorrow for the pain Jill endured and a longing to reconnect, mother to daughter. While Jill had every reason to walk away forever, she chose instead to respond with cautious hope. She sent a message to her mother saying she was willing to meet in person under one condition, that it be just them and that there be no pressure, no preaching, and no Jim Bob. Michelle agreed. What happened next has been described as tearful, quiet, and healing. On the day of her birthday, Jill arrived at a cozy rented home just outside of Springdale, Arkansas. It was decorated with simple touches, handmade banners, a table of baked goods, a bouquet of yellow flowers, and a birthday cake that Michelle herself had baked, just like old times. But this time, it wasn't about tradition. It was about reparation. Jill stepped through the doorway, uncertain of what she'd find. What she didn't expect was to be greeted not only by her mother but also by some of her younger sisters, siblings she hadn't seen in months or even years. Among them were Johanna, Jennifer, Jordan Grace, and Josie, the rarely seen Duggar girls who had stayed largely out of the spotlight following the family's various controversies. Their presence wasn't orchestrated or planned for the cameras. It was real. Tears fell almost immediately. Hugs were exchanged. There were no lectures, no long sermons about obedience or forgiveness, just a mother and daughter trying, however imperfectly, to rebuild what had been lost. One family friend who was present briefly during the gathering described the moment like this: it was as if time paused. They weren't the Duggars on TV. They were just a mother and daughter who had missed years of birthdays of life. There was crying. There was silence. There was laughter too. They were careful with each other, but you could tell there was love underneath all the hurt. Photos from the birthday party have begun to surface on social media, though notably, Jill has only shared a few select images, mostly of her own children and the homemade birthday decorations. But eagle-eyed fans quickly noticed something else in one of the shots: Michelle's handwriting on a birthday card sitting on the kitchen counter. While Jill has not publicly commented in detail about the reunion, she did post a heartfelt message on Instagram that read, "Turning 34 today has been emotional in the best ways. I'm reminded of the power of forgiveness and the strength that comes from letting your heart stay open even after hurt. To those who made this day feel whole, thank you." That short post sparked thousands of comments from fans who have followed Jill's journey from obedient daughter to independent woman. Many praised her courage to meet her mother halfway. Others urged caution. But overwhelmingly, the reaction was one of hope. So what does this mean for the future of the Duggar family? Insiders are hesitant to call it a full reconciliation. Jill's relationship with her father, Jim Bob, remains strained at best. Derek, her husband, has been vocal in the past about his grievances with the family, particularly with the patriarch's control over family finances and personal autonomy. There's no word on whether he was present at the reunion, though many believe he chose to give Jill space for this moment. This reunion, however, represents something much more significant than a one-day celebration. It marks a shift. A willingness, however tentative, to move beyond the rigid black-and-white thinking that has defined the Duggar family for so long. For Jill, who has been on a journey of personal healing, therapy, and independence, it's a step toward reclaiming not just her past, but also her family on her terms. And for Michelle, who has remained mostly silent while watching her family fracture and endure scandal, it may be the first real act of agency she has taken outside the shadow of her husband. Fans have long debated how much Michelle truly knew or endorsed the rigid control that governed their household. Some believe she was as much a victim of the system as her children. Others see her as a complicit enabler. But whatever the case, it seems Michelle is now seeking to write her own chapter, a chapter where she gets to be just mom again, not matriarch. Meanwhile, the younger Duggar girls, long kept out of the spotlight, are growing up and forming their own opinions. Their presence at Jill's birthday, unforced and genuine, is a possible sign that a new generation of Duggars may not be content to carry the burdens of the past. As the photos circulate and speculation runs wild, one thing is clear: the story of the Duggar family is far from over. It's evolving in fits and starts in private gatherings like these. In birthday cakes baked from scratch. In handwritten letters. In long overdue hugs between mothers and daughters. And while not every wound has healed and not every silence has been broken, this birthday was a moment of grace, a moment that proves healing doesn't always arrive with fanfare. Sometimes it comes quietly through the soft sounds of laughter in a rented home, the flicker of birthday candles, and the tentative but meaningful steps of a daughter who still dares to hope. As Jill blew out the candles on her 34th birthday cake, there were no grand speeches. But sources say her wish was simple: peace, healing, and the strength to move forward. And maybe, just maybe, that wish is finally starting to come true. What do you think about Jill's emotional reunion with her mother Michelle Duggar and her younger sisters? Is this the beginning of a long-awaited healing journey, or just a temporary truce in a family known for its deeply rooted control dynamics? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear from you. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Showtime Chronicle for more exclusive stories and emotional family breakthroughs like this. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and stay tuned.